well, all the bonus strength he gets as well off the shield bunk. Yeah, I mean, he was that hero. I think the reason he sort of fell off is because there was a kind of a different demand in offlaners. Offlaners that would win their lane a bit harder, you would kind of need to pair a lot of the times a Mars like with a Wisp to really just enable his start. And then also in your draft it made it a bit difficult because then you needed someone else for the Wisp to tether to, right? So I felt like he needed a lot towards the end of the patch to really pop off. A lot of heroes, you know.
The nerfs were important for him.
The nerfs were important, you know. The Visage ended up really becoming the star hero as well. The aura carriers, I just don't think he really wants to carry a Vlad's, you know, as well. You know, so.
And against this draft, like, it's against a puck, right? None of those stuns are instant. Like, maybe eventually you'll be able to get a Blink Dagger into an Aghanim Shard on the Snapfire, and it's a little bit faster, but they need something instant. I don't think the Shadow Shaman is the one for this, but something like a Dragon Knight I wouldn't hate, just because it's going to be a decent matchup with your right-click damage. You're not going to get forced out of the lane by the puck, and once you've got that Blink Dagger, you can get the stun onto the puck, follow up with the Snapfire or the Mars, and then transition that into a tower. But well, the Deboosters going away from what I was really thinking they were going to do with getting rid of the Beastmaster themselves. So again, this is just my strategy. This is my perspective that they need to try and end the game in 25 or so minutes. But clearly, they've got something that they think is going to work for them.
Yeah. Pleb strategy has always been more of a later game carry, so maybe they just played
against LGD. I don't know, man.
It's risky, but I think like when you do draft yourself very strong team fight. I mean, even if the Mars, you know, there's more efficient heroes, there's better items to be built that the Mars doesn't want to build. What remains is that his ultimate is still one of the better ones in the game. I think.
True.
You know, sure the cooldown's a bit longer, and against a puck, you're right, it's not going to be the most reliable of catch, but you pair it with kisses and you get that synergy within his own draft, and I think maybe you can still find a couple good team fights with vision, with initiations, with the rest of your picks here. They also banned the lone druid, which I quite like, and the only other ban of note I want to quickly make a comment on is the LGD Phoenix ban. Of course, with the Snapfire picked up as kind of a deny pick, with the Mars, that'd be something pretty cool to see.
Yeah, you could have a massive team fight. Again, this is a team that does love the Medusa. That's also a combo that goes well with these, even if she's not the pick. If it's pleb will play it if it's a good Medusa game. And we'll see. The Dragon Knight, I love the pick though, because it also stops Tiny's scaling with that Breathe Fire, always a very useful skill as well. So they could just go for that. Blink stuns are easy to play around. It's a consistent strategy, and the lanes are strong too, so it'd be the simple way of executing this.
And I like the idea of that. I think when you're heading into one of the probably scariest teams in the entire world, when you're playing them, you want to have heroes that can have a recovery mechanism.
True.
You know what I mean? You don't want to have to be playing like some really squishy SF mid who, yeah, he's got Shadow Rays, but he's got like no right-click damage and needs to ramp back up. DK with a decent lane can just go for the what's called the Fireball, right? Oh, with the Ursa instead.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really see the point of the Ursa yet in the draft. Maybe they're planning for something. What could they be combining the Ursa with here?
Maybe a possible lane that they could be flexing the snap between 5 and 4, right? Is currently what I'm seeing with the cookie lane. That is decent, right? The minus armor as well. You've got great Roche taking right now for Deboosters, especially early on. And honestly, LGD with not the strongest team fight to contest.
I mean, maybe a Grimstroke as well could be something. I mean, Bane's fine, but I feel like it's not something that's going to like win you the lane, you know? Bane, of course, very self-sustainable. I suppose one of the benefits of the Bane that is really good is it gives you that instant lockdown for the puck that I was asking for. I wanted a DK, maybe a Shadow Shaman, but Bane does the same thing. We know that Nothing to Say, the way he plays his puck, a lot of the time it's playing on the other side of the map, and we see teams like, I'm going to shoehorn a SEA team in here, boom, when Skem's playing it, he plays next to the tower. He plays next to where the puck is going to be playing a bit more aggressively, gets the Nightmare off, you're allowed to TP in on someone like the Mars, the Snapfire, and you get a kill onto a high priority target. So I don't hate the Bane.
Seems like to me though the lanes would better be if Bane goes with the Mars and Snapfire with the Ursa, because I like the cookie combination you talked about. I really don't see how Bane Ursa's doing any synergy.
Yeah, and I think the Bane's lane, even versus an Ench, is really hard, right? You just get a good creep and toss it at the Bane.
True.
And he quickly runs out of mana. He's got a like Nightmare, a creep. Like it's just, that one feels a little rough as well.
And now even with the DP, right? Like what is an Ursa going to do against a DP in lane?
Yeah, it's tough.
Very little. The Spirit Siphon is going to be pretty damn effective.
Probably the worst matchup for an Ursa. Up there with Viper, yeah. At least Viper you can get a top of. The DP you straight up can't. Like she will outrun you every single time.
Yeah, that's why I like the thought of like Cookie. Like if you go for like 1-1-1 on the Snapfire and you Cookie, Scatterblast slow, Little Shredder to amp up the Overpower, Fury Sweat. You know, I'm just...
And LGD, by the way, I like that they're playing this because they banned the Zeus. As you already have 1 jump on the Ursa, 2 jumps on the Cookie. That's the last hero with jumps that we have left. So you ruin their synergy here. What other heroes have jumps?
Zeus.
Well, that's the one they just banned. That's what I was just talking about, Dan.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking the taunt as well, not even the ability.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair
That's
enough.
also actually the first one I went to, in all fairness.
Okay, think of taunts, guys. I need some real analysis.
Shaker
from you.
jumps.
Shaker jumps is true. That's it. A mid shaker that will
There
work.
it is.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm still worried that they don't have enough push. Like, the Ursa, unless you really snowball it, he's not going to be the one to go up onto the high ground. Like, you've got a Tiny. It's a position 4 Tiny, most likely. He's just going to toss you back and into the base, and then you can get melted by the rest of the team. So, I don't know. It seems a little, again, it's all about the synergy for me.
I could see it working, though. I think Deboosters, they're playing around Roche. You generally tend to with an Ursa, right? You want that second Aegis, free shard upgrade. You stand on the high ground. Yeah, the tossback is scary. You're completely right. But you respawn on that 5-second timer with Aegis. The cookies are coming in. Mars is initiating. Yeah, it's maybe a bit difficult, I agree, but it's potentially something Deboosters can play for.
You got the little shredder as well, so that's going to make the Roshan go away a little bit easier, just even with the one value point into it. But I'm still not 100% on what they're going to end up their finish up, their draft with on Deboosters' side. It could even potentially be a Mars mid, and then this Nature's Prophet is in the off lane, just because Mars physical damage against a puck, you're actually reasonably able to get a lot of these trades happening.
Yeah, that seems to work. NP, I guess he's going to have to go Orc in this game, though. Because
That was an instant Spectre pick as well. They really want to be able to get in onto those backlines, provide all of that vision for you to essentially just run down the Bane. So we'll see how successful it is. I mean, you can never say no to an Arme Spectre, that's for sure.
True. At least Ursa has a good core-to-core against Spectre, so they have that going for them, even if the MP might not have a really good time. Seeing these drafts, we have one draft that's very much into the meta we've seen this tournament, one that's a little bit more experimental. What are your thoughts here?
I kind of like this Deboosters lineup. I think they had an idea, which was physical damage early. I'd like to see like a medallion or something and a couple of value points into that little shredder, buff up the physical damage, and it's looking good.
Yeah, I'd like to see it work. I don't think it will. LGD got this.
Okay, well, we'll see what our cast have to say about this game as we go over to them for game number 1 between Deboosters and PSG LGD. Take it away, Gareth and Lacoste.
Thank you, Arvo. Yeah, here we are. Still all to play for the Deboosters. They've got to get past some serious brick walls, though, right? This LGD draft looking pretty solid.
Looks good. Pretty straightforward coming out from PSG LGD. No real complications. On the side of Deboosters, going for a little bit more push. Like Panel talked about, that they need something to kill the towers with. Bane, Snapfire, they don't provide you with much. Ursa as well. You need someone to be able to get this ball rolling, and if you get the advantage,
Without profit.
Yeah, to be able to actually keep this pressure on the map. And yeah, we can see the boys smiling. Definitely a difficult task for Deboosters playing against PSG LGD, a team that looked super strong at the TI-10.
Oh, yes.
But they got dismantled by Team Secret yesterday. So that gives me a little bit more hope that they could potentially cause an upset here.
That's the thing, right? No memeing around for LGD. They want to try and cement themselves in that position in the playoffs. And every victory matters. Looking at this, though, like you say, right, Deboosters, they've got to get that tempo up.
Oh, looking at the items. This is a level 1 Roche attempt, I'd say. Yeah. Gloves of Haste on Ursa and Blightstone. Let's see if PSG LGD gets a good read on it.
Well, they saw the Mars. Evo and P1, they're lurking out towards the mid lane, and there's no one from LGD near the Roshan pit. It's been a while since I've seen one of these.
It's been forever, because you just don't get enough XP. There is a Vord that I believe it scouted out Treant coming in.
Ooh. Could they know?
Chill, bro.
LGD
gotta keep them busy, spam something, do whatever. Malik using healing salve on himself while Treant is tanking.
Nice
it's
micro.
26 Fury swipes, so extra 25th. 250 damage, up to 300 right now. Blightstone.
They're doing it.
They are doing it. Jin-Q. They are not aware. That was so close. Like that Treant coming in, it was on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one way to unsettle LGD, it's getting level 1 Roshan. Deboosters, I share it across 3 heroes. They are halfway through level 1. They've got the Aegis up on Malik's Ursa Warrior. And that's put them in a really sick spot now to come out this laning stage.
Absolutely, and look at the items that they're bringing. Quelling Blade, 6 Tangos, and Ironwood Branch, and also Ursa does have Gloves of Haste. It's a lot of commitment. Like, you need to start with a different item build, but they've done it. Well, it's a good way to, just to boost yourself a little bit, you know, even though they are called Deboosters, boost the morale of the team. I like the name Deboosters. That's what I do when I play my pubs. I deboost my own account.
Just keep deboosting. It's a great, victory for your morale, and all these little victories matter. Up against LGD, you've got to take every W you can. A few little things here that's kind of interesting, right? Ursa and the Snapfire are up top, and LGD have also done a bit of a lane swap where they've put Arme, that position 1 Spectre, down bottom. What kind of matchup are they trying to look for or avoid?
They did not want to play into Ursa. That's all, because Ursa would put a lot of pressure. This is something we don't see. Like, they needed to adjust the lanes on side of Deboosters, because like, you have this Ursa, usually you would think it's the safe lane hero, but Pleb on the Nature's Prophet. Pleb has been amazing. He was playing for Chillax this and the previous tour, now known as DGG, and he's a super solid carry. Like, this guy can carry the games.
Yeah, he absolutely can, and on a Nature's Prophet, he's going to be bringing that early tower push tempo and, of course, scaling with the Furion. Really nice stat gain and ability to build those right-click items and not just rely on the Ursa to do that physical damage. It's honestly a really well-rounded draft. They've got team fight, catch, kill, physical, magical. Everything seems very, very nicely set up for them.
They even have a decent lockdown for Puck. We're talking about the Grip. We're talking about the Nightmare into Spear potentially coming out from Mars. Want to see what Pleb is going to get this game. I wouldn't mind seeing straight up Orchid, even though the other build was a bit more popular lately, where you just get Gleipnir straight away.
So far, keeping tabs on Arme. ACS isn't bad. Still doing a great job. Evo, all right in that mid lane against the Puck. Mars always has incredible matchups, no matter who he's against. Just the raw right-click power, his attack animation, everything's pretty nice. Along with the double wave-clearing spells he's got with God's Rebuke and the Spear. And Bane, of course, is going to have to try and keep that Prophet in the lane. Well, it does look like Enchantress slipping around in that jungle, farming small camp.
Oh, this is exactly what you want from your Enchantress. I mean, he is doing a good job just getting
back. On the tower with the Avalanche. Malik dropping low as well, but Mad Frog, the one to die. And Faith Beyond grabbing that first blood early on.
Malik wants to die. He wants to be able to deal as much damage as he can. This is not Aegis, you know, because it's level 1 Roche, so it's mostly about getting that trade, going back to full HP, full mana.
Yeah, and the thing with taking level 1 Roshan, of course, you're going to have that second Roshan come up so much faster than really you expect, and it offsets your expectations in the game. You know, LGD you just get used to this kind of rhythm of, okay, you know, 20 minutes in, they'll try Roche, then 10 minutes later, there'll be another Roshan.
But you know what, Gary? It's completely different to what it was before, because second Roshan now gives you a shard.
Exactly.
So potentially, we could have like 8-minute Roche, 10-minute Roche, and someone picks it up. Let's see who would be benefiting a lot from
Ursa's shard is great. I think it's probably one of the best ones in this game. You know, Mars is all right.
Yeah, if you get the one for Snapfire, that's pretty good. If
nice
you get
too.
one for Prophet.
Oh yeah, they've got some really. It's going to be.
I don't
it's
think
going to be a battle within the team to try and figure out who gets it.
What happens even? Because you can buy shard at 15 minutes. Maybe if you get a shard, it doesn't even work.
No,
because I have not seen it.
I'm pretty sure it does. You know, we were playing in a caster stack a couple of days ago, and Lyrical, you know, they were on a lost streak, so it's Pleb TPing out. They were looking for ways to win a game.
Oh, good Hurricane.
Good little drag back there. P1 does have a little extra regen to keep himself fine on that tier 1 tower. There's Lyrical's plan to try and get a victory. It was like, guys, let's just do something. Dang, let's go level 1 Roshan. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just get the shard. 10 minutes in, it's fine. You use it. You got it. It's not locked. It's not disabled. Perfectly reasonable.
Looking at the mid matchup, 33 CS, but a lot of those are small camp, which Puck is farming. Evo's doing a pretty good job, I would say. 24. You know, he's still playing against, nothing to say, one of the best mid laners in the world. He's trying to stack the small camp for himself. Puck could potentially steal that one.
Yeah, absolutely could. I'm very interested to see what Evo does in terms of rotation as well, because he's about to hit level 6. So we could see that move with, you know, a TP up to top. Maybe if LGD get a little over-eager with this dire creep wave arriving at the tier 1. And Death Prophet might be a little out of position. But Mars, for now, he's going to start wandering. down towards that bottom jungle. Spots the
Oh,
Y
Y.
Enchantress.
Ready to go in.
The Alpha Wolf.
Nothing to say, does not want to connect. He's like, I'm gonna go for these creeps instead. And look at the way he's using Orb on a mid lane. He nukes the mid wave and also nukes the small camp, so pretty efficient.
Absolutely perfect efficiency. Yeah, 45 CS.
Next Roshan may respawn in 2 minutes. We just started the game.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, I did get that level 1 Roshan on Deboosters. Malik's already spent the Aegis, as he's been left to his own devices now. Top rune illusion, but in that bottom rune spot.
Good juke.
And the arena comes out, the coil's in on them, and Mars about to die. Does get a courier kill on his way out there. A couple of couriers falling, in fact. P1, Jin-Q, and Wise Courier dying along with the Evo Mars. And P1 on the run back away from the rest of LGD, but the toss forward, that should be able to catch the Bane. Even with a Nightmare there, the Alpha Wolf will take his life.
And taking off some pressure from Spectre. Spectre's about to hit level 6 right now. It's a long cooldown. It's 3-minute long cooldown on Haunt. And it's also mana consuming. 150. Spectre just doesn't have enough mana. One of the reasons why Ame is going for Ring of Pass. Yeah, I see that more often on the carriers or even just the casual Sage Mask to be able to get some mana, not so you don't get the clarities. It's all about being efficient. Carry players, they don't like consumables, Gary.
They don't. They don't. And they don't like spending more money than they need to. It used to be a thing, right, the Spectre, a bunch of heroes buying Echo Saber. PA was doing it because they wanted that mana regen, they wanted tankiness, and it seemed nice as Faith Bian getting ripped limb from limb by Malik, but Spirit Siphon, nice bit of heal. Well, down at bottom, the toss back, dagger forward from Arme. Why trying to connect in onto this Prophet, but it's basically just creating a barrier, allowing Creep Wave and a couple of heroes to maybe get some damage onto that tier 1, while Prophet and Bane can't defend too effectively. Well, they do back up in the end.
I guess they were giving respect to Spectre's Haunt, because she can come there, but she doesn't have that much mana. Like, you need 300 mana for, let's call that combo. Not that good of a combo. Haunt and one
dagger.
Spectral Dagger, yeah.
Because she's got like 400 mana, they're 150 mana each on those spells. It's not a lot of fun. Yeah, we used to see that Echo Saber, and then it's like, well, if I'm not disassembling into BKB, it doesn't feel particularly good buying the whole thing. So, you know, a Sage's Mask or a Ring of Passage gives you a very
There was a
similar
time when it
amount.
was good. Echo Saber into Aghanim Scepter build, and
Yeah,
then
true.
you went for Orchid, where Orchid had a different build-up.
Evo. He's got some backup coming. Nothing to say, gives him the coil again. He arenas defensively as they try to Nightmare, delay the death of the Mars, but in comes Arme. Straight up Haunt, back into action, in towards Pleb now. Prophet gets the Sprout out, but nothing to say, just on top of them with a Waning Rift. And his Ghost flying out will find yet another kill for LGD.
And nothing to say,
stop
he's
the
not
puck.
done. He wants another one, potentially.
He can't kill off P1, but he'll orb towards the Ursa. He's level 7 on Malik, but it's just an onslaught of LGD aggression. Coming in towards top tower, an orb forward should be able to get the distance closed in. And a double kill for Puck, turn into a triple maybe here, but it's Faith Bian to grab up that additional kill. 8-0 so far. LGD storming towards victory.
PSG LGD that we are used to see. Like
Clean.
one move, yeah, exactly. Clean execution, especially from Faith Bian. He goes in with the ghosts, multiple Spirit Siphons running, and he's ready to dive.
P1 looking to try and deboard. Not going to find anything nearby though. He's done a good job so far. He got the ward in behind that bottom tier 1 tower. And put himself in good positions to protect his Prophet and his Mars.
Next Roshan will respawn in a minute, so that means potentially they could try to take it one more time. Cookie.
Yeah, why? Gonna get the heal off. The coil, though, holding those two supports back as Malik does swipe in towards the Enchantress. And Orb across will get the puck some distance, and there's nothing the Mars can do to help out anymore.
They got the 1 kill. This is it. 1 kill on the hero, 1 kill on Roshan. So they're keeping things balanced. Jin-Q.
Oh, Malik, gotta be careful. He does have the enrage still, but you know, a toss back, a bit of damage from that puck could bring him down quite easily.
All 3 cores from PSG LGD on top of net worth right now.
Oh, they are. Getting all their key items very quickly, like that Witchblade so early on. an
This
enormous
is
amount of
10-minute
damage.
witchblade that we're talking about, so you can pretty much solo kill both supports, and like even Ursa doesn't have that much HP, does have enrage, but still needs to be very careful, and they're not building into like any HP items, so for the next 10-15 minutes, I'd say this puck is gonna have a pretty good time.
Yeah, looks like a free game for nothing to say. I mean, what's going to catch him?
Nightmare,
a grip from Fog.
Potentially Spear, but there's a silence, there's a toss back, there's
Hello.
also global presence from
Look.
Spectre, and here they go again.
Look who's back. LGD are pinging it out. They know that something's up in the pit. They've scanned it.
Oh, he got
Malik gets
bashed.
bashed by Roshan. That's not looking good. Arena comes, the kiss is landing. That's good damage out from the Deboosters. In towards nothing to say, but he's got the coil and the orb over the top of them. A toss across will help them kill off Malik, but they get the takedown on the puck. That's a huge kill for them. Faith Bian and Y, though, pairing up to chase back Evo towards his triangle and away from the pit. And LGD might just steal it away from them.
It was a good combo. Snapfire ulti with Mars Arena. They do manage to bring puck down. Easy 350 for Snapfire, and there's still ulti running on Death Prophet, but they need to be careful. It just ran out back to full HP, not enough damage. So, like this Roshan, the way Deboosters are playing right now, like it's gonna get threatened because they know that there is no exorcism.
Oh, nice cookie. Y has a ton of heals though, and Malik, who's just respawned, he turns on towards Jin Q. The spear misses on him, so he has to go for the Earth Shock instead. And quickly, Arme moves himself out of the Sprout. But it looks like Deboosters going to give up on Roshan for a few minutes now. LGD have brought everybody. They've brought back on Jin Q. P1 denies a regen rune in the middle of all that nonsense. And Roshan stands tall.
Yeah, the standoff. PSG LGD, they're fine with that as long as they have something inside the pit. And here we go. The Vision battle is going to start. Treant protectors, not protectors, they're just called Treants from Nature's Prophet. And also Y will be sending out his creeps inside the pit to see if anyone's going to go for another attempt. Malik, yeah, pretty standard Ursa build, even though from the offlane, like it's very difficult to go for different item build. So going for casual Morbid Mask gives you that sustain. You can farm the Ancients, and now going for the Fusel Blade, very close to it, just 400 gold away.
Right, not looking too bad. The net worth of the Radiant, yeah, they're behind LGD, but they're not massively behind. They're still going to get their items up and running.
Haunt on the mid lane.
They're trying to kill off Malik's Ursa. And nothing to say in Arme pairing up together. Now looks like Deboosters thinking about pushing out top tier 1 tower. Would give them a bit more room around the Roche pit and a bit more land to play into up top. They're currently very passive and setting up with P1 bottom. He's got Nightmare Grip, so plenty of time to set up for TP reactions.
Oh, Jin Q is going to be dead for a very long time. He did buyback
True.
in the previous fight, so 40 seconds. 53. All right.
53 seconds. There's a trade though, nothing to say, he was able to arrive in time. A little unfortunate that Deboosters weren't able to use this distraction as a Roshan taking tool. That's one of those things, you know, if you're absolutely all on the same page, you're like, okay, we're going to gank bottom. 2 heroes will be expended down there. We can maybe go Roche with the remaining 3. A spear into the pit, though, catches White. Kisses, some good damage from Mad Frog. Should be able to find the Enchantress, even though it takes a while. So we'll be there to add the finishing touches.
Let's see if they go for another attempt.
It feels like they've got to. It feels like one of those things where if they... Oh, Arme, careful, buddy. Those Ancients pack a punch. But if you don't get a second Roshan, then it feels like you're kind of resigning yourself to losing the game anyway. So all in, get into the pit. Faith Bian, and nothing to say, straight onto this. Mars, who is silenced, gets the arena out just before he dies, but Ursa, he gets the Aegis. That's what they came for. Now try and fight into Faith Bian. He's still stuck in the arena, but look at Jin Q, just bursting through Pleb. Prophet gone, Ursa loses Aegis now, and LGD, 5 alive, all surrounding this poor teddy bear. It's no picnic for him, he's dead.
They went all in. I mean, this type of strategy, they try to surprise him. They did at level 1, got the Roshan, and now attempted to go for the second one, picked up both Aegis and Shard. Nature's Prophet did get it, but at what cost? Like, they're losing out so much, and because they were always grouped up around Roche to be able to threaten it. Meanwhile, Ame, with global presence, like, you know that he's going to be joining fights, but he also wants to farm his Aghanim Scepter to have even more global presence.
Yeah, and I'm thinking back to that draft, we were thinking what heroes could Ame pick. We thought about the PL, the TB, the Naga, these illusion heroes, but against the Nature's Prophet, the Spectre gives you that additional ability to stop his split pushing. Get on top of him, make sure he's not shoving out these waves, opening up the map for the rest of his team. Because that is one of the ways to kind of come back from a scenario like this, is controlling the map and finding space where otherwise you wouldn't have that additional farm. 8k lead now for LGD though, as Deboosters are smoked. Expecting someone to come down bottom to try and shove out this wave. And nobody from LGD anywhere nearby though.
They have two big items coming up, one on Spectre, the Aghanim Scepter that we talked about, and also Puck with Boots of Travel. So even more that global presence. Jinkyu did pick up his Blink Dagger, even though he was off to a really bad start. Did need to buy back in the previous fight. Also, Holy Locket. Y just wants to be like this healing enchantress. Holy Locket done, going into Shard.
The mobile fountain. The heal bot 2000. Malek running away from top. Looks like he kind of wants to go triangle. But they've moved in towards bottom. They've caught out Ame. He's not going to survive though. Pleb's going to be out in the open as they toss them back into the avalanche, and they're going to lose a hell of a lot just for killing off this Spectre. Mad Frog about to drop with the Enchantress. Right click, not finishing him off, just escaping with a sliver of HP. And P1 gets the Nightmare down, well, nothing to say, focuses in towards Evo. He's got a spear and a rebuke, but he's dead to the Witchblade. And P1 trapped in the trees. Oh, is he juking?
He's pretending he's not there. Be quiet, Gary.
I'm a tree. He's one of those little kids in the school play. They couldn't give him a speaking part, so they turned him into a tree. P1, where's he off to? He's found by Y.
Yeah, he already used the TP. Fate Beyond did stop his teleport with Yule's Scepter, but he's buying a lot of time. Look at this. It took them, I'd say, almost a full minute to be able to kill Bane.
They get him in the end. They go up top. Nothing to say in Arme. Respawn with a Spectre, Haunt onto Malik. And Mad Frog being eyed up by Jinkyu. He gets a high ground ward, but of course already used his blink. Well, that's a beautiful courier he's got as well. It's like snow particles coming out of Jinkyu's courier.
Oh yeah, China definitely has best couriers, like all the particles, all the effects. If there's something in the game,
look at that one as well.
This looks expensive.
It's a little fishy. What's that? What is it? Is it Saturn with the rings, isn't it? Orbital Decay.
Sounds very fancy.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, they are the cosmetic kings. Wine Faith Beyond down bot. Looking to get in onto this tier 2 tower, unlock the outpost for themselves. And Jinkyu waiting in the fog, ready to strike. And Deboosters, very wise decision to not defend this. One of the most difficult objectives on the map to try and defend.
Game is very difficult for Deboosters, even though like they're scaling. Oh,
yeah,
this is the power. Having Boots of Travel on Puck and also Spectre with the Aghanim Scepter. So out of nowhere, you show 3 heroes. All you need is one to set things up, and most of the time that's going to be Jinkyu.
It's just immediate as well, isn't it? Snap their fingers and suddenly 2 heroes die.
No pun intended. Killing Snapfires, snap their fingers.
No, I didn't think about that, but yeah, good shout.
That's why I'm here. If I'm not the one who's using puns, I
or using his brain.
Unintentional. Yeah, I'm the one who's using the brain in this cast. That's correct.
I turned mine off on purpose.
So yeah, Mars does have a BKB, so at least he's gonna be having something against Puck, so he will be able to get better arenas. Still, a lot of physical damage from both Spectre and Exorcism. Fate Beyond, super high level, level 15.
Still a good chance, though, for Deboosters to win a couple of fights, though, right? If they get these head-on-head clashes where they're 5v5, they've got arena kisses, and they just can't bleed out kills like this. When the Prophet are dying one by one, you've got these extended periods where you have one hero dead for 40, then they respawn, another hero dead for 40, they respawn, and it's just this effect where you're never able to fight as a full squad together.
Map just gets very difficult to play for Deboosters. Extremely hard to get out of the map. They need to bring numbers, otherwise it's gonna keep happening. Look at this.
Do they have any stuns though?
No stuns yet. It's probably gonna be Manta style into Scotty, into Basher for Ame, but if he thinks that he can get more out of Basher, he might just pick it up, considering how far ahead they are right now.
Yeah, it could work for him. Cancel grip, catch these TPing heroes. Maybe set up and give more time for Nothing to Say's puck to arrive. Evo doing a nice job, just grabbing the wave. Try and open things up a little better. Like the bottom half or third of the map, not really somewhere that Deboosters can play into, so it's nice to see them coming in towards mid and up towards top. Thinking about that next Roshan in particular, a minute and a half until fast spawn. Yes, it's only 20 minutes in, we've got third Roshan coming. Horn from Arme. They found another freebie, it's the Bane. Yeah, can they turn this into more with the arena out? They will blow up Malik. Evo trying to battle with Jinkyu's Tiny, but even the position for Tiny's too tanky. Evo about to die and a 5-man wipe incoming.
This was a fight with no exorcism. Like, they didn't even use it, and that's, I'd say, even most of their damage. So, looking really rough for Deboosters right now. Like,
I'm always curious in these situations. Like, we see the net worth difference, we see the kill difference, but it feels like XP difference was one of the big things in that fight, right? Extra damage, extra stats, extra points up in your ultis. LGD just annihilated them.
LGD initiates with the Haunt. You see one hero immediately dead, so that's 4 versus 5. They reveal everything with Spectre ulti, so that means that they're gonna be able to choose the targets they want to go for.
Is that right? LGD are 22 levels ahead. Oh, there we go. Avalanche toss. Down goes P1 again. 19, 19, 17. Yeah, they are, right?
Try to do math manually.
Yeah, I took a peek at the graph, and it's got the 6,500 XP plus 21 levels.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's pretty ridiculous in a 22-minute game. That's a level a minute.
And someone could get Aghanim Scepter for free from next Roshan.
Oh, who is it?
On side of PSG LGD, Ame already has one. Dead Prophet building one. I don't think you want to give one to Tiny. Enchant. They could meme it up a little bit, get the Sproink going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, bounce around a bit. Oh, Nothing to Say has been all over this map. His maneuverability, an understanding of where he needs to be to snipe out these heroes has been spot on. And Pleb on the flip side has been sitting in tree lines the majority of the game. Creating tree and sprouting and just trying to split push. Make a bit of room for the rest of his team. Right, now they're playing on a dire vision though. I'm not sure if LGD saw that smoke. They've probably got a pretty good idea of what's coming through this Radiant Triangle right now.
Look at this little fella. Oh, he just died. Never mind. Inside the Roche pit, there was a Kobold scouting things out. Prospecting Aura is the name of the spell, giving 20 gold per minute.
Best aura in the game. Kisses launched in towards some illusions. P1 still dead to it, and Arme doesn't even bloody bother to show up. He jumps in, mantas, and jumps out again. A toss back finds Mad Frog, and it is a dismantling. As LGD handle Deboosters and walk straight into the Roche pit.
Ame's like, cool guys don't look at the explosions. So he goes back, continues farming up. Let's see what's on Roche. It's gonna be Refresher, so I assume that one goes to Dead Prophet. Deboosters not in position to be able to contest it. Bottom is being pinged out. PSG LGD, they still want to defend this one.
Don't give away these objectives for free. Look at all that money flowing into the pockets of Nothing to Say. Kaya Sands, Witchblade, going into Lincoln's next with tons of money saved up. They do get on top of Malik. Good two-man avalanche from Jinkyu. The arena just defensive again, and Arme toying with his food. Jumping from Haunt Illusion to Haunt Illusion, drawn in and a three-man coil. Nothing to say. He's lashed onto them all. Nightmare there to try and save and delay.
Ash,
but
can he get it?
I don't know if he can. The damage isn't quite enough, but they'll find the Mars instead. Grip is there onto the puck, but it's not going to do much. Evo will try TP
Good
home.
TP from him.
Oh, there's no stuns. You're right. That's a smart move. Gets out of there. So they only lose 3, but when the positives you're looking for at the end of a team fight are how many did we lose? Not great.
It's a lot. Yeah, we talked about Ame's items, whether he wants to go for Scotty or if he wants to be able to get the Bashers done. And yeah, one of the fastest Aghanim Scepters on Dead Prophet. Not a really popular item because Dead Prophet, like her popularity has been on the rise, I would say, in the last couple of weeks, but not that like first phase material, at least not from what I've seen.
I'll tell you now, it's popular in ability draft.
Why is that, Gary?
Well, so you can pick damage over time spells, and every time you do damage with a damage over time spell, a ghost comes out and hits them. So you just get a million ghosts flying around and just destroying people.
I'm not ability draft gamer.
You should join us sometime. It's fun.
I'm good for now.
Yeah, you don't like fun, do you?
I mean, Dota's fun. I mean, I can get behind it, but I feel like...
You'd much rather a normal game. That's what you used to.
Other players would be so ahead of me that I would be kind of mad about it.
I know that feeling all too well.
You learn startup time.
You learn a couple of combos. There we go, Arme. Straight back into it. Jinkyu tags them with the Avalanche, tosses an illusion forward. Nice little nightmare there to dodge the damage from it, but nothing to say. Straight back into play on top of Deboosters. Two-man coil, Ursa Snap caught up in it. Arena from Evo. It's on the Enchantress, but look at how tanky Y is. He doesn't give a damn about it. He's taking literally no damage. They can't touch her. The Bambi's invulnerable. LGD diving into that base now. They've glyphed up to try a bit more damage back onto them, but nothing to say. Diving towards Fountain. Gonna phase shift and maybe blink away. The cookie play not gonna land. Well attempted by the D-boosters, but LGD outplaying them every single step of the way.
And also so many nature attendants. Why full HP? Doesn't even have cloak there, so receiving full damage, but healing it out with both Holy Locket and look at his item, what he wants to go.
Say goodbye.
This is the old school Enchantress build. Going for Armlet.
Oh, very
Ahmed
nice.
was holding onto Refresher for a very long time, and now he's like, Fate Beyond, you want to end the game? Hands him over the Refresher, another Exorcism. PSG LGD, they want to close this one out.
Yeah, and a dieback from Pleb. Gets himself picked off up in that top lane. Arme just cruising now. But we saw the faces of the D-boosters a few seconds ago, and you know, there's a few little smiles there, wry smiles, just trying to hold on to what they've got, defend their base against some of the gods of Dota 2. Malik will kill Jinkyu, and he's absolutely going to be grinning at that one, I'm sure about it. Even if he dies immediately after. Evo caught in the coil as well, but nothing to say. Beyond godlike along with Arme. And right now, you're just going to shrug your shoulders and go, well, what can you do? LGD 48-7.
Specifically bought Moonshard just to be able to stop the TPs, because it felt like he got annoyed. Yeah, more attack speed means more chances to bash.
Look at that, the nod of the head. Yeah, this one's over, isn't it? Let the throne fall. All 5 are dead. And LGD gonna close this one out. Go on there, Mad Frog. Get yourself into action. No dive, says Pleb. He's baiting them, goading LGD into the fountain, but they don't fall for those kind of nonsense tricks.
They tried something different. I mean, they did surprise PSG LGD with level 1 Roshan. Try to go for the second one, but PSG LGD, they were ready for it.
They absolutely were. Even if they didn't scout them out. Now look at the fans. Going wild over the level 1 Roshan, they loved it.
They also want to see PSG LGD performing on LAN against the local team. Gotta give them some, you know, good memories, good experience for them, and PSG LGD all but smile, everything, including the smiles, big smiles, especially on Jinkyu. This man, I don't know, like something about him. Like I think he has this positive aura for his team.
It's just innately cheerful.
Absolutely.
Positive attitude for them. There we go. LGD taking game 1 in this best of 2 up against the D-boosters, and you know, it was pretty solid, straightforward stuff from them. Nothing too out of the ordinary. as they systematically handled them.
Yeah, I want to see what they have prepared for game number 2, because they need to try something different. Defeating PSG LGD in a fair fight might be a bit too difficult with all the experience that they got, but yeah, look at this. We got Roshan. Let's go.
Yeah, we've seen that Roche animation a fair few times, but never so quick into the game. But Lacoste, what kind of strats are there in Dota 2? We've had level 1 Roshan. Is there anything else sneaky they could try?
Pudge is not that sneaky anymore, but I could expect them go for something like that in game number 2. Yeah, potentially. I think they need to cheese it out.
Well, we'll find out. Game 2 coming up shortly, but for now, we'll hand it back to the panel.
Oh, thank you, Gareth. And we're here on the panel watching these highlights brought to you by Aramco. I don't know if you guys were seeing the shots of the audience, but I really concentrated on this. There was one audience member, so he was like maybe a 7-year-old kid who could not believe Deboosters lost after level 1 Roshan. You could tell him. He was perplexed by the screen. He was just like, what just happened? How did they lose? They took level 1 Rosh. When I was 2, that was the strategy to beat. But unfortunately, much like him, I am incredibly confused by that.
A confused 7-year-old? That sounds like my pops. It's crazy. But Dota has such a wide range, right? You're able to be
representative of a larger region. I think I might have just gone live here. So what I was saying was, it's great that we've got so many fans coming out and being able to watch this great Dota action, but LGD just too strong at the end.
Gotta give them credit though. I mean, Deboosters, they're one of the teams, they know, as we see this final score screen provided to you by STC, they were just having fun, right? They did level 1 Roche. It's been forever since we've ever seen that, line or not. And it's nice to see that the team, even at this moment where they might be eliminated, they're having fun with LGD.
You know what I think Deboosters were going for? I think they were just wanting to have that bragging rights, to be able to say to their friends, we level 1 Roche PSG LGD, one of the best teams in the world, or I killed Ame. He only died the once. Faith Beyond made sure to say, well, I'm not going to let that happen to me, but everyone else died to Deboosters, and so I think that's something they're going to be able to hang their hat on.
You're right. They never killed a TI winning core. That's unfortunate, but they did manage to give us a good showing here for Deboosters, and you can put that on your resume later. So at least they're doing well. However, this means they're eliminated. There's no chance of them coming back, right?
No, you're right. They regardless of the Tundra series, which is ongoing now that they're playing versus Spirit.
With a position 1 Abaddon, by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't looking too hot when we left the room. I'm not sure how that one is faring currently, but I thought
Tundra likes it cold though, so maybe.
That could be cool. That could be true. That could be true. But yeah, I really like the Debooster start. I think if you're gonna take a series against LGD, you needed to make a statement out of the gate and put them immediately out of the comfort zone. I mean, that wasn't even something. To be fair, that's not on any of our radar. It wasn't even on our radar when we launched into the lobby, and then immediately we see the game and they're already in the Roche Pit level 1, and yeah, you can't blame them for not scouting. The most that you do in the Roche Pit is really just hide in there and contest the rune if you're being a little bit cheeky, right? That's it. Level 1 Roche is so far off the radar.
Yeah, I mean, what you could do now, we're talking about sneaky plays, right? Now, you did the level 1 Roche, I was like, well, TI2 strat or whatever. Then you go over to TI3 and you do the Alliance bait Roche, where you let someone die in the pit, come back in, they already picked the MP. It could be happening that...
Someone's going to scout this time, for sure.
I don't think so. I think LGD will let them do it out of sportsmanship. If the enemy team is willing to do this, you gotta let them. It's just a sign of goodwill.
I don't know. I agree with the cost. I think we might see that Meepo start to come out, or these other unorthodox heroes that just aren't in the meta right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, agreed. It's got to be something a little bit. I mean, you're a cheese guy yourself. Maybe something a little bit like of an aged, a bluer cheese. Help me out here. I don't know any other cheeses that are aged other than blue.
3? Any cheese could be aged, just leave
most
it out.
cheeses are aged.
Yeah, well, they were all aged when you left them in the fridge for 6 weeks, but I don't know exactly.
That makes them tastier because you want them to have the stronger flavor. This is a genuine thing. Stop laughing at this. Don't put the camera on me, please. Pass it on to Richie. You have other options. So there's the zoo options here, right? You could go for that, but not Visage. That's too played out. Brood Mother. That's what I want to see.
I'd like to see the Brood, honestly. Just the heavy commitment into one sort of play style that is going to actually kind of force LGD to play your game. Sure, Ame is still going to be pick this core and he's going to go and do his triangle and continue farming and play for the late game. That's the style, that's the efficiency, that's what we expect from LGD, but you can still make the other 4 heroes play your game, and I think Broodmother is kind of the hero to do that right now.
Yep, Broodmother, Dazzle, Give me the push. Give me the full-on.
Yeah, that's love lane. I'm done with the 2.
TI2, TI3, TI4, Death Ball. I think that's what they need to be going for.
Right, so what were the heroes? There was definitely the MP was a big one.
Centaur.
Brewmaster was huge back then as well.
Centaur was big.
Yeah, okay. Brewmaster mid, Centaur offlane, MP carry. I like that.
Leshrac, I think, also came through a
I
lot.
mean, we're running. I guess that's a support then 4 slash.
You know,
we need a 5.
I mean, if you really want to throw back to the TI meta, right? We can go like Quas Exhort Invoker, Alacrity, Marcy, Sidekick onto the Earth Panda Brewling.
That's true.
Sure.
Use Faith, because Faith Beyond came up with that when he was
Yep.
on Wings. So use that strategy against them.
Yep.
Show him what's what.
I mean, you have to destroy him with the mental game, I think, right? Level 1 Roche, and then you use their strats against them.
Right. Well, we've come up with a lot of strategies. We're probably not going to use any of them, because that's why we're on the panel not playing. But we at least give him some options. For now, we are really, really excited to wait for that game number 2, and that's why we're going to be throwing to a quick break and coming back as soon as possible to watch LGD versus Deboosters once again.
مع التحديث الجديد لستي تي بلاي تجربة جديدة للكل. لو جوك دايم تحديات نافس وانضم للبطولات، استكشف الشات والتايم لاين وتسوق من متجر التطبيق. الليدر بورد على تفاعلك بالتطبيق، والجوائز الأسبوعية والشهرية على نظام النقاط تنتظرك. ستي تي بلاي، مهما كان جوك هذا محلك.
عايز تترجم راب؟ تعالالي. ملوك الصين دي انا ملخصه في سطور، بس مين يقرا؟ فاهم؟ كلام الشارع ده انا هرشه كل المجال حبايبي بروز.
وانا كاكازوكو مصدع ايه ابكي نظرة لو على الحلاوة عندي كاستر والاسم
عفرت يا عفرت، هتفضل معفرتها ولا ايه يا برو؟
انت مين يا هو ازاي ده دخل هنا يا جدعان؟
نكسر الدنيا الاول وبعدين نتكلم، نعيد من الاول.
لا 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 مش مسجل.
اخواتي
عشان فاهمين السين، سبوتيفاي عمل لك بلاي ليست الاقوى راب مصري، اسمع ملوك السين ببلاش.
Game 2 is upon us, and we are anxious to see what is happening to you, Richie.
The crane.
We're anxious
So
to
fast
see
today, I love it.
what Deboosters brings for this game number 2. After level 1 Roche, there are high expectations. They might have lost, but it's not always about winning or losing in Dota. Sometimes it's just about having fun and showing some creative strategies.
Yeah, I mean, now, especially for this game, too, that's pretty much all the Deboosters are going to have, right? They are now out, unfortunately, I think going to be condemned to that 5th place finish.
Yes.
In Group B with now their 7th loss guaranteed. No other teams would be able to match them there. And we're going to see here what they choose for Game 2. I mean, even towards the end of that game, they didn't really seem like they were in too poor spirits, even kind of taunting LGD, asking them to come and dive, you know, inviting them into the pool in this hot Riyadh heat, right? Come diving in the fountain, but no dice from LGD, taking every game seriously.
At the very end, no dive, question mark, and then I think Xingqiu just went ... Like, we're not going to do it, bro, come on, calm down. But yeah, it's clear Deboosters are here for a good time. You know, they're playing, they're having fun. Even when Lil Pleb was able to get that Roshan, you saw him do his little jig on the stage, like he was happy, pumping up the team, so...
Yeah, he was just clapping.
Yeah.
Great imitation, Danog.
Thank you.
I could have, for a second, I thought I was actually paneling with Pleb.
Well, I am a pleb, so...
Well, I'm excited to see what they bring for the second game. It's nice to see, like, sometimes you gotta take advantage of these experiences, right? And for some teams, the experience is a learning experience. It means that they're gonna go further competitively. But for a team like Deboosters, who also has a lot of stand-ins or borrowed players, it's just an experience, personal, individual one. And having a good attitude is definitely the way to go.
Even just to be able to have their family here supporting them potentially. We saw the crowd, obviously, we've got some Saudi representation, so I'm sure they would have been happy to say, like, hey, Mom, I'm on TV.
Oh, it's true. I gotta give them a chance later. Yeah. Hey, Mom, I'm on TV, by the way. Anyway, let's see what they bring for Game 2. We've already talked about some cheese strategies, but I want to hear some more ideas. I mean, we've seen Arc Warden. Can we still consider that cheese?
No.
Have you seen? Actually, wait, before I continue.
Go on.
I know the current Arc Warden build for real Arc Warden players is the Midas, Maelstrom Ags, and into
Octarine Gleipnir.
Octarine Gleipnir, exactly. And that's good. But have you seen the Dagon build people are running?
Wait, no, I have.
Thankfully, no.
No, you haven't seen it?
I have not
What
seen
is
it.
this?
So in High Immortal Plus, people were like, all right, now Arc Warden, 50% damage reduction. In case you guys don't know, that does not affect spells and items, right? So it still works that way. And so people were starting to run this build where instead of going for the Maelstrom Midas, you actually just rush Orchid into the Dagon, into the E-Blade. And so you just blast fools from far away. But then people realized that's not good for carry Arc Warden, so they started playing Arc Warden in the off lane.
Oh, wow.
And it's also not good for that.
It's not. So that's when I became a Debooster for my own account for quite a while. Black helped me as well. But, you know, I think there's something there. I think it could be run for this game number 2. Maybe in the mid position. It could be a build.
Give me an Alchemist. Give me the
That's such a boring cheese. Farm more cheese.
5 Alchemist.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, I'm sold. I'm sold.
I'd be sold on that. Yeah, actually, I think the trouble with him is how many points you can really get away with in the greed and still finding space and time to farm and actually getting the Egg Scepter with a reasonable timing while not just griefing your lane, right? That's going to be the really, really difficult part. But if you pair him with like a super strong laner, like a Bristleback, like late in the game, you kind of like throw him in for a bit of a loop. Like,
Give him the Ags early on.
Exactly.
Anti-armor synergy as well. Or minus armor, sorry.
I think the difficulty for them is that LGD still have a lot to play for in this match, right? I mean, they're now 3-2, but we'll see. I mean, one of the teams, Spirit Tundra, is also going to be matching them after this series, right? It's guaranteed. So they'd really, really like to still, well, not upper bracket, I think. It's going to be difficult for them. Still not impossible.
They want the 2nd seed.
But yeah, they want at least that 2nd seed.
For sure.
Yeah, make sure that secret is not their matchup later on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They want to avoid that as much as possible. As not sure if this is the team's highlight or if they're on the stage right now, but I mean, it just shows
It's a summit slide.
Sure. The attitude of the players is still very upbeat, very positive coming through, right? There's lots of smiles coming around, not just from our ever-faithful Xingqiu keeping the spirits up. We even saw Ame crack a rare smile there, and look at that, Faith BR. Just, it's the lucky pat, it's the lucky hugs, you know? Xingqiu always seems to be the target of it. We saw it at TI, the belly rub coming through.
The Buddha pat,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was pretty big for them here, and that was just like a little adjustment of the collar, maybe.
He wants him to look his best.
Of course.
Everyone loves Xingqiu. Literally, you talk to players from all over the world, and they all love his sprays. They just love his face. Like, Beast Coast bought the LGD pack just to spawn his face everywhere. Whenever I've been to tournaments, players are always really eager to talk to him. It's interesting because he doesn't understand them, but they still say hi. They still want to, you know, go on and give him his hand.
Like, oh, hello.
He's kind of a superstar, honestly.
Yeah. He's the closest we got to a celebrity, I'd say.
What, you don't think Ame is a celebrity as well? I think the LGDs are a team of celebrities.
True,
Yeah.
true. I mean,
Xiao Ba, he found his way.
Yeah, he
show.
was on a reality TV show. That's absolutely right. And I think
So was Sinkyu, actually.
I was about to say,
I think I saw that
he get
episode,
picked
actually.
up on that, right? Yeah, you brought up that story, I believe, the other time we were paneling about how that's how he was kind of discovered, right, on one of these shows.
Wild.
Yeah.
and even Nothing to Say now looks like a K-pop star as well with his haircut, you know, the wild colors. So, yeah.
I mean, like the Dota 2 scene in China, right? The culture around it, it just like the fact that you can have these things that, you know, oh, we're having like an influencer dating show. Who are we bringing on? A Dota 2 coach. Like that is unbelievable if it were happening like over here in like the Western cultures. But over in China, the fact that it's not only, you know, happened once,
It's
but
the
they
norm.
keep bringing people on. Like that's
They did a
amazing.
whole Dota 2 reality show. I mean, now it's buried, but it was the thing they tried to do. So I agree with you. It's very, very cool. And what's also very cool is this draft. We're getting to see it now. PSG LGD will be the ones to ban the Marcy, which gives some more options to Deboosters here. They get to ban something different as opposed to that. They're going to get rid of the Beastmaster, much like in the second game. Sorry, the first game. They do not want LGD to play fast. We'll see what they come up with, though. Last time we didn't really see the Roche level 1 because who would? But maybe this time we can guess what the idea is.
Yeah, and I think that's only, unfortunately, a move you can play once in probably the tournament. As soon as teams know that this is something you're willing to do, they're going to give it a try.
The techies.
There's
Let's
the
go,
techies
Deboosters.
earlier. Techies, tiny toss, right? You're no longer tossing them into a stack full of mines, but certainly going to be able to do the Avatos and set up for the blast off, which is probably Techies' biggest impact spell these days.
Yeah,
you
for
like
sure.
toss into techies as he blasts off, and then he blasts off in place.
Mid-air?
Right? Oh, whoa, I didn't think of that, actually. I don't think that works, though.
Well.
They hit each other mid-air like a cartoon.
Yes.
But, like, genuinely, if techies blasts off in place, right, and you toss him towards techies as he's doing that, that would be a perfectly timed blast off, right?
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
I know, like Marzarita, Techies just hits the side like the cartoon that we were saying and just bounces off basically. But
Zeus does too.
Zeus does too. We got the bristleback coming through though.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, now that LGD, like,
Bunch of normies.
they know that Deboosters are going to try and do something probably faster. I mean, who would want to play late game versus Ame, you know? So, especially when you've got really strong laners for PSG LGD, so they're going to pick some strong lanes themselves. This Wisp Bristleback, unbelievable sustain, the healing.
The Winter Wyvern gets removed from the pool, as Lacoste would say. Obviously great against any kind of Wisp lineup. What I want to see Deboosters go, I want to see him get a puck. I think that's where you really see the biggest strength of the techies. Puck, if there's any pitfall that Puck has, it's the high ground push and the fact that early on, before you get, like, let's say the third item, your damage isn't amazing. You can shove out lanes, you can be annoying in team fights, but you can't finish them off. And that's what Techies allows you to do with that blast off that you were talking about, Arvo.
Sure. I also like the Timbersaw pick actually here. Well, not only is he going to go to Bristleback and IO, but allows Techies to roam early, assuming this Techie is a 4, and that would give Debooster some more options to win that early game. Use that blast off. We saw how strong it was with Zayat.
This is very reminiscent. I think Deboosters, they ought to look for maybe something like well, but then you got to play carry from the off lane. Pudge off lane, maybe. This reminds me a lot of the Enigma OG lineup. Or sorry, the Secret, what was it? Secret LGD game.
Secret LGD.
Right, where they had the global lineup against these tanky strength heroes that LGD was proposing earlier, and it completely demolished them. I wouldn't mind seeing the Zeus here, percentage-based damage versus a Wisp and a Bristle. That does sound pretty decent.
Sure. What other damage can you have that's like hard to land, but Pudge and Tiny allow you to position them into it?
Oh, they picked the Timbersaw themselves. Hard to land damage.
That's like very strong. I really can't think of anything.
I mean, Snap, kind of.
Oh, you could snap your Mortimer skills preemptively as you hook someone. I mean, there's the option of like a Mirana arrow, maybe? You could like hook into arrow. That's kind of impressive.
I mean, they're playing against LGD. Isn't this like a TI6 strat that they did in their one loss against DC? It was the Pudge Techies, right?
You're right. Wings did do this.
Yeah, I think probably in that game, though, that was when Moo Timbersaw was the biggest thing, right? They probably had the Timber with them on for Moo. In fact, I remember I was in the crowd for that game sitting right next to the Chinese fan, so that was a really fun experience. But the Bat Rider instead, which has actually been very frequently banned, even last banned
always
by LGD. Yep, they don't like playing against it, as does Nigma. That's a key similarity between the minds of Kuro and Zhao Ba, perhaps. But that's going to be a powerful pick here into the Timbersaw, into this Windrunner especially. I mean, that is such a terrible matchup for her.
I'm going to need some more burst damage, though, from Deboosters. You're going up against an IO lineup with a Bristleback back in a Timber Saw. Like, you need to get them from 100 to 0 very quickly, because all of the damage that they've got essentially is gradual, right? With the Bat Rider, with the Pudge. Tiny and Techies give you a little bit of that potential, but you need something else that's going to be able to convert on that and actually finish off a team fight. If it could be percentage-based, great, but already the Wyvern's been removed. We don't even know what they need, right? This might be a Pudge position 1, but it might just be something completely different again.
I think Bloodseeker's looking pretty good here.
Yep.
It's going to put your Pudge in a bit of an awkward spot, but he's really good versus the tanky heroes like a Timber, like a Bristle, like a Wisp. Force the reload early in the fights just to time out, and maybe the rest of your and then maybe the rest of your damage over time, like you're talking about. And is a legitimate concern, is something that Deboosters can play around. It's not banned, so I would actually genuinely like to see the Bloodseeker last pick.
I like it too, yeah. It's something that works well with this forced movement, right? Which is what they have. They already have 3 forced movement, 1 damage, you need 2nd damage.
Yep. Bloodseeker looks amazing.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't know what roles each hero plays, but at this point, I think we're well past that anyway, so I don't think that matters.
Oh, yeah. Bloodseeker's the move here.
Undying, okay.
Oh, okay.
Could this be a core Undying? That'd be kind of cool to see. I think... Faith Beyond that did it last. I think he played a position 3 Undying a few times. Obviously, it's Deboosters playing it this time around, but you see a lot of strength heroes. You say, okay, I'm just going to get a ton of farm and try and push you down with an Aghanim Scepter maybe and do that burst damage.
Right, you go for Ags, then you lasso one person as you're lassoing, you toss someone onto the Bat Rider, hook another person, and then 3-man decay, 30 strength right off the bat.
Easy.
Yeah. Easy win of the fight,
I mean, it's looking pretty good. The Shard, the Sanj on this hero as well is ridiculous, because you can get to some very, very bonkers HP into not quite an armlet, but just stacking the strength and most importantly take it from your enemies might be the strategy for Deboosters in Game 2. We'll see how well they can do.
Usually ask for predictions, but I think it's safe to say this whole panel is going for Deboosters, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Great. Let's see what our casters have to say about this. Gareth Lacoste, what is your prediction?
Let's go, Deboosters! Come on, let's have it! It's a beautiful draft. Their plan, though, is drag people in Fountain, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Toss, lasso.
They're playing for the 20 minutes when Bristleback starts running at them, and then they drag the whole team into the Fountain. So that's the plan. Deboosters playing it for the crowd. They wanted to see, some nice hooks into tossbacks, into lasso.
Into laughs.
We'll see who's gonna laugh in the end, but it's a good Bat Rider game. It really is.
That was a great pick. And
it's also a good Undying game, Gary, as well. Looking at the heroes who can kill the Tombstone, pretty much it's Bristleback who's gonna be tethered to IO. Other than that, these heroes, they don't want to go in and kill the Tombstone. And you're also talking about core Undying.
Now, he's got Armlet queued on Malik's Undying, but I kind of hope he's been watching Slax's content and he rushes Refresher Orb to get double Tombstone as quickly as he possibly can.
I don't think I've seen... First of all, I've not seen Undying on the offlane in a while, especially not the one with Armlet.
Actually, it was like the Aghanim's Rush, wasn't it, that we saw a little bit.
Planted Observer Ward.
Echo Saber Undying.
Potentially looking for a hook.
Let's see if we can see Armate. Oh, they spotted him going up to that high ground. Radiant do have vision over there, and Sticky Napalm will scout nothing up the staircase. We've got nothing to say why Shinkyu and Faith Bian all sat on that left side.
The sword gives them pretty deep vision. So if someone shows, could potentially be a hook.
Hello.
Here we go.
Missed it.
In between.
Unfortunate. His own teammates tipping him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, good try, buddy.
Even nothing to say decided to join. Why?
They're having a bit of fun with the tips. I mean, it looks like they're going to lose some bounty runes, but they land this hook now. Pleb.
Toss.
And the toss on the tower. Nothing to say. Body blocked up. In comes the blast off. He tries to dodge it with a sleight of fist, but it looks like he's dead. 4 heroes around him, and now the tip's going to come back the other way. And P1, he's a Slacks watcher, dropping the oh no.
They decided to swap things around. It's going to be Pleb playing the mid Pudge. And Bat Rider will be safe lane. So right now they are swapping things around. They want to have this Bat Rider against Timbersaw matchup. Yeah. And mid Pudge, we've seen mostly Pudge being played from the safe lane. I think this hero does really well on mid, because you do get levels. Hook onto P1.
It's a little difficult sometimes. They're still giving it a good shot. And again, they're going for these plays where they are displacing the opponents. What was it? Avo was calling it the forced movement, giving their enemies no chance to react when you're putting them under towers like that. Nothing to say, gonna go. Let's try and flame guard through this Pudge's early damage.
He was thinking about getting bottle, hook underneath the tower.
Can he kill
Here
him
we
off?
go, one more hit.
A solo kill against nothing to say. What a dream!
Ah, this is big, and now he's collecting the tips. Nothing to say.
Grins. Nothing but grins for Deboosters. Wonderful stuff.
He got the soul ring, does have a fairy fire. Didn't want to go for bottle immediately. A bit strange considering that he got the first blood, so you want to get bottle out as soon as you can. Go for that 2-minute water rune. Have it secured.
Down bottom, Mad Frog and Malik. Oh, hello, toss under tower. Jinkyu gonna try wind run. Does have the move speed to get out of the grasp, but the
Did I
blast
see
off
that
bottom.
correctly? Pleb just TP'd from mid lane top.
Well, Malik's
gonna land the hook.
Has he got him?
He got him. If he misses that hook,
Pudge roaming. They just rotated in. Mad Frog dies down bottom to Y in a really scrappy battle down there where Malik nearly died as well. But IO keeping that Bristleback topped up, and yeah, chaos all around. Both side lanes going mad. Another hook off the mark this time. But Lacoste, who's your mid laner now? What's happening?
And it's gonna be Timbersaw, and we see Batrider going to the mid lane. Evo is bringing something on the courier. It's a bottle. I like that a lot because this does allow him to swap the lanes, especially if he needs to play the mid lane. Then you kind of need a bottle with the Batrider.
Yeah, utilize those water runes. And they're both level 3, right? So there's no level difference between them because they both started in the same lane. Let's see what Faith Bian can get done against the Batrider, which is a very advantageous matchup for the Bat. Yeah, one of the big stories, though, is going to be Ame's Bristleback, like untouched in the bottom lane, 19 CS, top spot on that board.
He's the one who does not need to move from his lane. He feels very comfortable here, has a Ring of Health already, going into Vitality Booster next, so we're going to be seeing Vanguard.
Yeah, and he got that early stick against Undying. Get some regen against the Decay spam. And he's even content just spamming Quill Spray under the enemy tier 1. Deboosters, they're going to bring 3 heroes top again. There's a rotation from the Batrider, so mid lane yet again abandoned.
For a second, I thought Fleb is going to hook Tiny one more time.
Oh, he might have. Avalanche should get the toss back here as well into the rock. The stick and A-bombs coming. Nice flame break to push back Jinkyu. And Windranger is kind of blocked in here up against the tree line, going to get brought down by Evo. Pleb suffering against the Timbersaw's damage, but does have the salve, the Timber Chain across. They might be able to kill Faith Bian here now. Firefly is starting to wear out, so they'll need all the damage they've got. The toss across, the Batrider's in. Need a hook from Pleb to line up, but a sidestep. Faith Bian pirouettes on the spot, dances around it. He's got plenty of napalm on him, but now he's under tower.
Fate Beyond going for a different build. He understands that reactive armor is not going to save him there, so he wants to be able to surprise people, get the damage done, and also wants to have more points in the Timber Chain. He knows that this Batrider matchup is not good for him, so wants to be able to blow him up, especially if Batrider decides to go underneath the tower. Now Pleb back to the mid lane.
Yeah, lane swaps galore. Bat, Pudge, Ember, Timber, all trying to get themselves a little bit of a nicer time in this early laning stage. Has this hurt anyone, do you think? You know, LGD feels like it's not been great for them, but they've not lost out too much, have they?
No, definitely not. Bristleback on top of net worth. Ember Spirit 28 CS, and we can see Pudge and Batrider pretty much having the same CS. Timbersaw in the middle of the pack.
Oh, is he stacking Ancients and farming the Tombstone, it looks like, Malik? Trying to get himself an extra boost of net worth, get that income.
And Techies has the lane for himself. They can't play this lane, especially after the Vanguard pickup on Ame. There's no way he's dying.
Just the one stack from Techies. I could build that up a little more. Pleb misses out another hook in the mid lane, and now Windranger with the IO and Ember tethered up together. Chains on the Pudge, no one coming to save him. So Pleb dead, even with that Fairy Fire popped. Will do nothing but delay the inevitable. And a jump in. Aiming for this Ame Bristleback. Malik with a tombstone should be able to find this. Another little bomb from the techies comes, and Arme getting decayed and hit down by the zombies. Go on, give it a high five. Io tries to keep him alive, but I just love that. They're laughing, they're having fun, aren't they?
Yeah, this
That's
is
what
why
Dota
they
2 is
pick
all
these
about.
heroes, pretty much to have fun. Pleb, deeping mid, level 5 only.
Avalanche toss back into tower. Go ahead, Jin-Q. Get back over here. And the hook off the mark, unfortunately for Pleb. Can't find the grab, and now he's
3
in
remnants
trouble.
available or nothing to say. Doesn't even use one. B1 has toss available in a
He's dead,
second.
though. He tosses Ember Spirit, but the power shot from Jin-Q and the late reaction's coming. Maybe Techies can find a takedown on the Wind Ranger with a blast off to get it. And a rotation in from the back as well, but nothing to say, like you said. Has the remnants to jump away, dodging the flame break beautifully, and why with a tether? It slips out with the grasps of Deboosters.
2 remnants out to be able to provide him tether target, and like, yeah, Io holding up a bottle for now, healing up. Oh, is that Io's bottle? I think it is. It is.
Yeah, so nothing to say, he skipped out on it, right?
Yeah, because he was, he knew that he was going to be playing against the Batrider eventually with the older lane swap, so decided to go for Magic 1 instead.
Jin-Q shackling up P1. Avalanche stops the Timber Chain, so that's given him enough room to get away from that top lane. I mean, maybe Jin-Q can try and power shot, but I think he's out of range by now. Definitely out of vision.
Deboosters doing much better than in the previous game. Like, they're making the moves, they are getting some kills, even though it's a 2k gold lead for PSG LGD.
And now the lasso. And dragging his Ember Spirit on the tower. Dismember there, the permanent disable. But did they have the damage to follow through on? Slight of Fist comes out, Evo's still alive. They will bring down, nothing to say, as the Io follows him into the grave, while Arme was fighting with Malik around the tombstone. He doesn't have Soul Rip leveled up, so he can't heal it. Just trying to spam. There's decay onto Arme. He's got his ulti going, so he's got that damage increase, but
that
facing off against
close.
the Bristleback, not an ideal situation.
Malik tried, he tried really hard, but fighting against the 200 damage Bristleback and having like 4 stacks of Quell Spray, pretty difficult. Ame also got the extra gold from the Tombstone. 2 seconds faster than this patch fastest, so Ame breaking some records.
Faster is faster, Lacoste. He is a speedy guy. I mean, what is Flesh Golem? 25% damage amp, maybe he was overestimating that, but now with the Dismember onto the Bristleback bottom, they should be able to bring him down in a 3v1. That hook secures it in the end. Well, LGD trying to secure themselves a tier 1 mid lane. They spot P1. Another good avalanche though, and he's out of there.
Oh, bro.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, Fate Beyond did manage to kill the tower and still keeping their tier 1 tower alone, even putting some more pressure on a mid tower, because Orb of Corrosion, extra minus armor, with 3 people hitting it, it's a lot of damage.
I wonder if there are any chat wheel lines P1 doesn't have. He's used all of them. I'm just waiting for the Moon of Mayne to come out in a second. Tiny, yeah, in the chakram, not a chance.
He only got the good ones.
It's a bit cheeky, Lacoste.
It is. I saw what you did there. And now, they are invading stacks, but still respecting Batrider, and they know Lasso is coming back off cooldown. All the same items being dropped. 2 Fairy's Trinket and 2 Chipped Wests.
We're hunting Batrider though. Stop him from taking the stacks. He gets the lasso out, but he's completely destroyed by LGD's aggression into this top jungle. Deboosters not able to really react to that. You know, their tier 1 top has already fallen, so this part of the map.
Oh, Ame is also invading enemy triangle. He got the kill on board. So all of these, I'm gonna call it small things, but they do add up, because Bristleback did kill Vord, did kill Tombstone twice, I believe, and now inside the enemy triangle. Pleb thinking about going for the hook, but even if he gets the hook, he most likely dies.
Yeah, you can't go hooking this Bristleback.
Oh, he tried. That was a nice attempt from Jin-Q.
That would be stylish if he'd landed that one. A little bomb out from Techies. But LGD really planting themselves firmly in enemy portions of the map, so they can't get the farm that they need. And Pleb, he's isolated now. I mean, can P1 try and toss him away from danger? He can try, but he's moving in aggressively to play towards the Wind Ranger as they miss another hook, sadly, for Pleb.
They need some kind of stun. They need some kind of setup for these hooks. P1 thinking about going in, toss back into dismember.
They've got him.
Into silence.
They finish him off. Beautifully executed from the Deboosters. Chasing Jin-Q now. But I think the Wind Ranger should be all right.
Nothing to say, saying that this is imbalanced. Displacement abilities, they have many.
Yeah, what can I do to counteract this? I guess he's got remnants, but he's got to be on point with his placement of them. And we saw what happened yesterday with the Zayat's techies, right, against the Ember Spirit. The mines placed on a remnant. He jumped straight into a trap. Hello. Pleb finds the IO. Arme now doesn't have that defensive support backing him up, but it's still a tanky bristleback, so Debooster's going to look towards this tier 1 instead.
PSG LGD is playing Deboosters game. They are falling for these like hooks that they're going for. They are grouping up, which means that if PSG LGD goes and takes the farm on map instead of trying to farm, Himmerson just TP'd, but he has 0 mana. Does have a Soul Ring available in a second. Another extra goal coming up from Tombstone.
I mean, Malik is still there, just hitting at the Faith Beyond, but the Shackle shot, the jump in from the techies. Nice chakram across 3 of them. They're still standing Deboosters, tanking through the LGD damage. Finding one, Arme's down, and they'll lose a bit as well. Malik just standing his ground, finally taken out by the power shot. There's nothing to say in Jin-Q, turning towards P1. They want more off the back of this. Low HP Deboosters heroes, but Pleb is TP'd home. P1 making his escape, but the power shot misses on Mad Frog until nothing to say finds the finishing touch with his sleight of fist.
Nothing to say. Once Tiny, he saw him not having mana. 10 stick charges available. Jin-Q gonna snipe him. I mean, these type of skirmishes do benefit Deboosters quite a lot because their heroes are not that really good at farming. If we talk about like Tiny, if you think about Undying techies, they want to keep fighting, and they're getting some flesh heap charges. So right now, Pleb's sitting at 10 already.
Yeah, you really can't underestimate this decay with the damage amp from the Flesh Golem. A hook from Pleb will find Jin-Q's Wind Ranger. He'll try Shackle Shot and move out, but it's a lot of damage from this Pudge at this point.
Damage amplification from Flesh Golem. Couple of DK stolen and also Armlet.
And now
look at his damage.
Yeah,
it's like 180.
Straight into us, nothing to say. He does have a couple of remnants and 6-1 charges, trying to bait for the rest of his team to arrive with the TPs. And Malik way too deep now. Surely, with the Timbersaw arriving, he'll have to pay the price. P1, what have you done? He's walked in, he wanted to continue fighting. The Avalanche tosses the IO into the Pudge.
There's still Tombstone, good silence.
They do have the zombies flowing, and they get a couple of kills. The hook off the mark. Nothing to say, sidesteps that one. And P1 gets whirled to death by the Timbersaw, while Pleb attempts the TP home, and there's nothing to stop him.
I think Ame said, I don't want to be here. Guys, let me farm my Aghanim Scepter, and then I'll join you. He's 1,000 gold away from it, so gonna take another 2 minutes, I would say, and then he will be ready to fight. This is when you're going to see PSG LGD going for Roshan and try to take a fight, transition that into a kill on Rosh.
12 assists, 14 minutes in. And the game has got 29 kills. It has been a bloodbath. Deboosters not shy about playing aggressively. And
breaking some records. I think the highest amount of hero damage of any hero this event was Taiga on Phoenix, because he had like 1k damage per minute on Phoenix. So yeah, breaking some records. I mean, because you know they're grouping up, you do have Orb of Corrosion, your Sleight of Fist is maxed out, so that makes sense. I believe that's a full Deso. Deso and Orb of Corrosion.
With a Bristleback, it makes sense though, right?
Yeah. Also, their heroes don't have that much armor. We're talking about Tiny having 1 armor at the moment. Pudge sitting at 5.
Nice slight change though. Jin-Q being rotted down, and the relocate in will bring Arme to the fray. Pleb and P1 didn't stand a chance, and a lot of money there with that streak from Pleb handed over to Arme. It's going to make that Aghanim Scepter that
also,
much
you
faster.
Have 2 Deso charges 15 minutes in. You just finished it and got 4 out of it.
Bat Rider. Feels like Evo's had a bit of a quiet one, right? He's meant to be the hero that matches up against Timber and Bristle, isn't he?
Definitely, but in these fights, he still needs to be careful how he approaches. Does have Boots of Travel. Going into BKB next. Malik.
Here comes Arme. IO tether to him. Toss back in towards techies. Arme gonna walk it back. Power shot across towards Evo, though. Like you said, got to be careful, but a great hook from Pleb. Drags them into the mines. Nothing to say. Dead again in the same damn place. Deja vu as he falls under tier 2, and now Arme always got that healer. Io keeping him alive ever so barely, and Pleb stuck in the chakram, just being shredded by Faith Beyond's Timbersaw.
It looked good for Deboosters. That hook landing on nothing to say. Oh, underneath the tower one more time.
Oh, they get it with the mines. Wide down, P1 also dropping, but Mad Frog, the last man standing, brought down by Arme, who is very close to death himself. These fights, they're pretty close. Everyone on like 100 HP at the end of it.
Io coming in clutch with a couple of Magic Wand charges to be able to save Ame. Also, I want to see if Ame decides to pick up casual Cloak on Bristleback. There's a ton of magical damage. If we talk about Batrider, Undying, Techies deals quite a lot.
Well, I think I saw he had a Satanic queued up on the Bristleback.
It's going to be Satanic. I guess he wants to dispel mechanic against Batrider. We're going to see that fight again.
Yeah, it's all good setup.
We've been at this exact same spot
and like nothing to say
5 times.
Nothing to say. He's always the one that gets
3 times.
Hooked or tossed or dragged and killed. I mean, look at the eye.
I blame Y. He dodged the hook.
Nothing to say. He's probably giving him the death stare, the glare. Yeah, Arme healed up by the way, Io. Even under that tier 2. Deboosters fighting and scrapping, tooth and nail with everything they've got. As we see Roshan being attempted currently by LGD. Deboosters, 5 heroes smoked towards the area. Who are they going to spot first? Hook just off the mark, in behind nothing to say. And Roshan down, giving Arme the Aegis. And this fight is breaking out. They've got to stand their ground and battle.
Going for Tombstone.
Malik facing off against Faith Beyond. Tether across from the Io there. The lasso comes, but Arme, you're right, kills the Tombstone, removes the threat as Undying dies. And Evo, he's just going to try and TP home. Unfortunately finished off before he can escape. Pleb goes for the hook dismember play. He can't kill anybody off though. It's just the Wind Ranger as the sacrifice from LGD to secure Roshan and another huge victory.
Now it becomes very difficult for Deboosters to play the game. Unless we go to tier 3 towers. Like the tier 2 towers, I don't think they should be defended. They're probably still gonna go for some kind of a cheeky play, but yeah, tier 3s is where they're gonna shine. Highest amounts of assists. So 18 assists, 17 assists, 18 minutes in.
I mean, we had this for the Tiny like 3 minutes ago. It's just non-stop fighting. Records being broken every 2 minutes. P1, there's a toss into the tier 3s. Blast off from the Techies. Can't really touch the Arme Bristleback though, as the Gale Force going to push them down towards the low ground. That hook has been more of a hindrance than a help. Tombstone's down there, and it will zone LGD away. But Deboosters unable to really connect on a clean team fight to get them any kills that they need.
They will need to respect the high ground defense. Hooks, tosses.
The glyph as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Having that multi-shot on towers definitely hurts. But once that Tombstone expires, we can expect LGD to just go up this high ground and start breaking buildings. Or not, they're going to run it back. They're being very respectful of that high ground defense.
This is the only way they die. They're so far ahead right now that any kill that Deboosters can get is going to give them a ton of gold.
Oh. Uncharacteristic from him. Nothing to say, Ember. Missed out on his chains.
We'll try to go for it one more time.
Ooh. It was close. P1 and Jinkyu having a warding battle. There's the Avalanche toss combo. Pleb with a dismember. But Timbersaw offering so much damage. Yes, they do trade 1 for 1, but Pleb's got a TP home now.
Good one. He understands that silence is going to be long enough, so there's not going to be chains coming out. Man, Techies disappears. Maybe Soul Rip could have saved him for a second, but this is a big kill. 700 gold for Evo.
Yeah, so much damage from that Firefly with the sticky napalm on him. That's why we've been saying the Bat is so good against the Timber with that raw magic damage. Arme seems to have his number though. Oh, there's no stuns.
He might die. Yeah.
But, who cares about stuns when you got damage? He's doing like 550 a hit. Pleb chased in towards his tier 3s. Arme getting tossed up and lands with a thud.
2,
3, 4. He's done for. P1 shredded. Pleb gets the dismember off, but in comes Y, keeps the bristleback topped up, and Arme, he is gunning for more. He wants the ultra kill. Come here, Malik. You look tasty, you do. Give me the ultra.
Arma
The armor
Toggle still
toggles.
gonna be an ultra kill, and yeah, gotta give him respect. He wanted to give him the rampage. Maybe in the end wants to get out, but yeah, Arme with the rampage, 20 minutes in.
Oh, you're getting freebies now.
Probably another record. I assume this is the fastest rampage of this tournament.
Probably, yeah. Highest amount of hero damage at 21. 35,000? I've seen 50-minute games where my carry player hasn't had that much bloody damage.
Oh, I remember some carries having like sub 2,000 damage.
Never forget
Gale
Boulder
Force.
Magnus. They're tiny. They just can't. They just can't handle the amount of damage Arme's bringing to the table. Evo trying to firefly over the cliff tops. And he's coming around the mountain. Here's Arme, and he's taking down Batrider. In behind tier 4s now. They're using Blast Off defensively to get closer to Fountain as Arme straight towards the Undying, in towards Fountain as well. As Deboosters stuck inside their well.
What a cute play from Arme. He turns his back, extra damage coming out. But before you could tank there as much as you wanted, but now having this Fury Swipes effect pretty much. Some XDs dropped in the chat,
well,
some smiley faces.
Pleb dropped the question mark on them.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
We're getting the flashbacks.
Mad Frog.
From Singapore Major.
Get some mines down. P1 tosses Arme across towards the techies. But now
they're not alive, so they can't even execute the combo. As soon as they respawn, they die.
He's under into the Fountain! They've got the Wind Ranger! Beautifully
They've got
done.
Ember Spirit as well. They popped the glyph.
Defending throne. Faith Bian, Y and Arme. Can they focus buildings? Do they want to fight? Malik's Undying is in. The relocate gets Y out of there for now. Faith Bian and Arme still stuck here though. I don't know if the Deboosters are stuck with them or if PSG are going to fight.
Arme wants to finish it. 1-2, one more hit is going to do the trick. Fade Beyond.
I do get the relocate back. A kill on the IO. Buyback is available. Batrider returns to the fight. Pleb in that chakram, getting shredded by Faith Bian.
70 kills in 23 minutes.
He's turning onto the throne. Arme Smurf. He's definitely not a 1.5k MMR player, that's for sure.
Shots fired. Still alive, still has that Satanic available. Maybe it's time to go in and close the game. But seems like PSG LGD that they're also having a lot of fun.
Hey! He's got another one.
Instant Lotus Orb from Faith.
And then, oh my god, the bristleback damage! He doesn't finish off, he does. He does with a cool spray. Oh, now the throne. So open and exposed. Beyond godlike streak, Arme is just cruising. GG call, Deboosters tap out. There's nothing left to see here as LGD have a very simple 2-0 victory.
Expected result. I think everyone kind of expected that PSG LGD, what they're going to do here, but we got to give credit to Deboosters. You know, they...
Entertaining.
Absolutely. Entertaining for the crowd, for style points. Some good hooks from Pleb. A lot of missed ones as well, but yeah, they try to go for something different. First game going for level 1 Roshan, trying to play off of that, and the second game going for displacement abilities. And yeah, they came here to entertain, and they did.
I sure did. That's going to be a nice little morale boost after getting destroyed by Secret last night for LGD. And of course, now we have our second team eliminated, right? Liquid and Deboosters. No longer a chance to head towards the playoffs as LGD pack up their stuff after a pretty swift series there. I mean, what was it?
It was
20, 30 minutes per game
total for a series. Yeah, a lot of records broken in this game. Highest number of assists, highest number of damage. I think it was done on Bristleback.
It's like 35,000.
Yeah, probably fastest rampage probably on top of that. And we can see some of the highlights.
So they're so serious when they're getting ready and drafting, preparing for the game. Then they realize this is what they're up against. They're up against people tossing you into tier 1s before runes have even spawned. Well, there we go. LGD 2-0 victory, and you can see the joy in the Deboosters' faces getting to play up against one of the top teams in the world as we head back to Alvo and the panel.
Thank you very much, Karen. We're here on the panel, always ready, watching these Aramco highlights, or these highlights brought to you by Aramco. You know, one of those series that is just for fun for one of the teams, and you could tell they were laughing the whole time. I actually think that the Deboosters were having more fun than LGD in that series.
Well, I mean, we saw LGD actually kind of crack some smiles, throw some all chat back. You know, they actually dove the fountain. It was like the short film contest this year with the Bristleback. You know, finally breathing, and he's just tanking, you know, the fountain and farming. Eventually, Ame got a little bit of that going. Yeah, I mean, they got to have some fun, right? Ame with a rampage. But I do really appreciate that Deboosters, you know, they went out there. They did not call early GGs. They played here for the fans, right? I mean, the arena is quite full. Normally, it's not this full quite early with lots of people coming out later in the day. But yeah, people here were for the fans, and I always really like when a team does that.
That smile, I think, just cured me. I think I gained MR with that smile.
It's infectious. It's infectious. And yeah, the crowd just happy to see some good Dota, of course. I mean, it was a great performance. 3 kills per minute coming through at the end of that one. 24 minutes and 73 kills, I think, if my maths are good. And this time around, they did kill a TI winning core. So FaithBR got his first couple of deaths in that game, and it was a great experience, right? Like Pudge, Pleb being able to bully Nothing to Say out of the lane. Not too many people can say they've done that.
And you can see that in the score brought to you by STC. Thank you, Dan August. Indeed, FaithBR, you know, getting beat. I thought at the beginning when we saw the Pudge, they were actually going to go for the. I liked your idea, like copy FaithBR's draft in the first game against Digital Chaos. But I checked the draft and had no techies actually. That was our misremembering. Only the Pudge. But it was fun. I think the early game as well was pretty fantastic as well by Below Pleb. Like he showed off his Pudge is actually nothing to be trifled with. Unfortunately, maybe not enough to beat LGD.
They just wanted the kills. You know, you could see once it got to a certain point, like LGD, they looked like they were on the ropes a little bit, but the scaling potential of this Bristleback is just too nuts, right? Like, maybe it could have changed if they got the Aghanim Scepter up on the Pudge. It just never got to that stage, unfortunately. So, yeah, again, kudos to LGD. There's a reason they're a really solid team, and this is just put it in the books for them. You know, they had a good time. Probably serves them really well, actually, going into the later series today, because they've got a series against one of these teams that they have to beat, and they probably have to 2-0 if they want to lock in that second place in their group.
Yeah, I mean, they're still not totally out of the woods yet. Sure, with this loss, Deboosters are going to be 5th place and eliminated from Group B in this tournament. But of course, they're still the 4th place, which might end up seeing some tiebreakers. Right, Tundra and Spirit still in Game 2, which is going to have a lot of ramifications down the lines. But LGD still with another game left to play and need to make sure that obviously they get the 2-0 here. And a good draft by them, right? I think they knew that they were going to go up against some really heavy early skirmishing lineup, and a Wisp and a Bristleback is like exactly what you want into that.
Yeah, if they're going to run into you, just push back a little bit, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Will we see some of these strategies coming out later, you guys think, in the further LGD matches?
I mean, Bristleback is meta though, right? So it's not like this is something super crazy.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So I think it's just something that they're going to lean on. Again, it was comfort, but it was also just fun, right? This is one of those heroes that Bristleback, of course, it's why they pair it together with the Warlock so much, right? Because it's just that AoE damage, you're able to take over a team fight. And I was saying with Deboosters, with their lineup at the start, they needed that like burst of damage. And I honestly think their coordination was pretty good. They just didn't have the heroes to really be that finishing blow onto someone like the Bristle.
Something interesting from LGD is the storyline of Ame. I mean, obviously this guy's God, but at the same time, like, he is a player that we've always talked about being, you know, the Spectre player, the hard carry per se, the traditional hard carry, and he's been, at least in this tournament, leaning to more of these tempo carries. And it's just fascinating to see him just slide into them so easily. He's not having any issues with Bristleback or with the Lone Druid at all. Any other heroes we might see? Do you think maybe the meta fulfills or is better for these tempo carries?
It really does feel like Army's just going to do whatever he wants on the day, right? Like,
really?
There's a reason that people like
he's Pudge carry before, so
multiple people, pro players, just watch Army. They watch his pubs and say, what's he doing? Where's he moving? How is he building? And they adapt their gameplay because they just respect him as the best carry in the world. So maybe we'll see something a little bit more unique come out. You know, we've obviously seen OG make the Arc Water work so far, but I don't know. Vengeful Spirit 1 maybe could work. I don't know.
That's hype. I would like that, though that is quite slow.
It is quite
That is very slow.
Yeah, and it's never a bad move, right, when one of these cores that is known for this traditional playstyle, especially a safe playstyle that you can always fall back on, starts to branch out and experiment into slightly different. Because that gives you a lot more opportunities to counter certain metas, certain playstyles, and keeps you relevant no matter if, say, the Spectre is unpickable or the Face's Void is terrible. You know, like, it gives you staying power as a carry.
It's funny because you're saying all these heroes, and I'm thinking of other heroes as well from like Bloodseeker, Razor, and I'm thinking, I've seen a good performance from him on all of them. It's actually impressive. Even some of the more veteran carries in the scene, they have a more defined playstyle, and there are heroes they just won't touch.
Yeah, I think he's just so versatile, right? So I'm keen to see how he plays in those later series, but it's going to be a little bit of time until we get to that point.
Yeah, maybe it comes to the Captain's Draft that all the Chinese players play, right?
True.
Because at the high levels, in case you guys don't know, they actually play Captain's Draft, isn't it? No, Random Draft?
Random draft.
Where it's like
and they play on C as well.
And they play on C? Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep.
So they also play Random Draft on C?
No, all pick on C, random draft on China.
Oh, that's very, very cool. And that's why a lot of them have such wide hero pools. But before we get to observe more of that, we will have more matches for the day. We can't get to them if we don't get to this break. So we'll see you very soon with the next match of the day.